Hello out there, wherever you are. As for me, well, I'm in Jasper County, Georgia. Monticello, Georgia, I believe it's pronounced, or Monticello, depending on who you ask. And I'm tracking down movie locations filmed in Georgia, and one of my favorite, maybe one of all-time top 5 quotable films, if that gives you a hint, representing youth since 1992. I'm talking about My Cousin Vinny. Maybe the greatest legal film of the 90s. Sit on the sidelines, a few good men. Don't run too fast, the firm. Calm down, time to kill. I speak, of course, about My Cousin Vinny. And I am here at the scene of the crime. The Sack of Suds. The Sack of Suds convenience store, which Ralph Macchio and his friend, well, wasn't the Karate, I mean, it's the Karate Kid, but not the Karate Kid, but that he was accused of robbing and shooting the clerk right here. Sack of Suds, the scene of the crime. And we're going to step inside, we're going to check it out and see what it's all about, but we're also going to check out other filming locations from My Cousin Vinny. Classic Joe Pesci comedy. Let's go.
This is Robert Stack, and when I'm not solving mysteries, I'm watching Tomwashere.
You can see the opening shot. They came in, I believe, no, they came in from this side. They definitely came in from this side. Pulled in the Sack of Suds right here. Let's go jump in there, shall we? Oh, they got Sack of Suds shirts. I got a Sack of Suds shirt. Oh, they got a whole variety of some different Sack of Suds shirts. Oh, you get the shirt? Yeah, I'm gonna get a shirt. You can't get beans. These beans make you fart. Can't do those. But it doesn't look like they have any tuna that I see here. Maybe someone took it. Maybe someone took the tuna. And of course, I'm not spoiling My Cousin Vinny. But what occurs here is they stop. They attempt to pick out a bunch of different supplies. They pick up tuna, and they accidentally don't pay for the tuna. They drive down the road a bit. A cop stops them and arrests them, and they thought they were taken seriously because they're in Alabama and they didn't pay for tuna. But what actually happened is that the clerk was shot at the Sack of Suds right here, and they are wanted for murder. So there are 3 eyewitnesses that actually lived. Interestingly enough, you can see the road in which they lived on. Mrs. Riley was over here. Mr. Tipton was over here. They were lost to the hands of time. But I'm actually curious about something. We're going to go over there and check that out. So I'm over here what used to be a road, which I would assume had some houses on it, including Mr. Tipton, Mrs. Riley. So even if Mrs. Riley was a few further back, and we know that she had eye trouble, what I was curious about was if you could tell. Now, she would be at a raised elevation, so could you tell from this distance? Now, I know the camera doesn't work exactly like that, but could you tell from this distance, not with Mrs. Riley's Coke bottle glasses, but you would notice if someone was walking out of there, you'd be able to see, maybe, if they're running out full speed, could you be able to identify them? Now, Mr. Tipton, who didn't realize it took 20 minutes to cook his grits, would have had maybe a closer view, because he was, as the movie said, 50 feet away. You had a positive line of sight, and yet you were wearing your necessary prescription eyeglasses. These reading glasses. But yeah, so I think both of them actually, just in a true crime for a fictional movie sort of way, I think that they would have line of sight to identify. Now the third eyewitness, and I'm blanking on his name at the moment, over there, I don't see any dirty window, any rust-covered screen, any trees or any leaves where he was, because that's like a parking lot for what looks to be a tubing operation going on at the Sack of Suds. But all the seven bushes have been taken out. But at least these two, they have line of sight to see if a car pulled out violently and drove down the road, it would be easy to be spotted. Let's put it that way. Definitely easy to be spotted. And I was always curious about that because you can see it in the movie, but it's different being here. You know what I mean? Different being here at the Sack of Suds. Location number 2. Vinny comes to town. He parks in, I believe, this exact parking spot. Because you can see the courthouse over his right shoulder. He's kneeling over here about the mud in the tires. Marissa Tomei standing right here. There used to be a barber pole right there, and she's standing there basically arguing about. I just want to see, is there a Chinese food place in here? Because the Chinese food here is terrible. But no, it's right here where they're having to talk about mud in the tires, because you can see the courthouse. You can kind of see the courtyard and everything. But this is that exact spot. A closing scene of My Cousin Vinny actually took place right here. The Jasper County, Georgia courthouse, where he's talking about him being Jerry Callow, win some, lose some. It's all right here, but the inside court scenes were actually filmed on a set. So none of the inside court scenes were actually filmed in this courthouse, but you can see why they chose it for the movie. I mean, it's awesome. And interestingly enough, even though this movie took place in the fictional Beecham County, Alabama, in the city of Wazoo, when they apprehended the 2 suspects at the end of the movie, they were apprehended in Jasper County, Georgia. A little nod to where they actually filmed and they were apprehended, of course, in a 1963 Pontiac Tempest with a white convertible top. Come out to at least the courthouse. Steps here to say I was here, looking out on the town of Monticello. There's a scene where Pesci's explaining that he gave the judge the name Jerry Gallo, who was a big New York attorney, and they actually walk this path in the courtyard because you can see the courthouse behind, and they actually pass this monument in the movie, so you can see them arguing about it, and they actually stop right here for Marissa Tomei to explain to him that Jerry Gallo was dead as of last week. But you can actually see that happen. That is actually in the shot right here. I assume it's the same monument that was here from before. But you can definitely see the courthouse. You can see the monument. But it's really cool. You know, it's kind of like frozen in time, where the areas have not changed too much since the filming of this movie, which was 1992, which is a long time. I mean, that was 30 years ago now. Is that really 30 years? Wow, I feel like a dinosaur myself. There's one other filming location I have to mention here, because you can see the arrow still here. But Marissa Tomei, she came running up these stairs to go get him a new suit. And there was one store in the town that had a suit, and it was Mitchell's department store. So she comes running up past this arrow, up these stairs, around this corner to Mitchell's department store, which you can actually see it in the movie. It still looks the same. And this store had the flu. You hit that? the whole store had the flu. And you can see it still says Mitchell's Department Store in there. But yeah, that is the store that had the flu. It's right here. It's still here. It's actually an embroidery store. So she goes over to this, right next to that toy store there, which is here, which was the second-hand store. Where he got this ridiculous thing. For that suit that he wore. But yeah, that is the department store that had the flu in there. Which is amazing that it's actually still here, at least in the same storefront and everything. Well, that'll do it. From Monticello, Georgia, or in fictional terms, Wazoo, Beecham County, Alabama, for the Beecham County Courthouse, Sack of Suds, Mitchell's Department Store, among others. It's so awesome that everything kind of looks the same as it did back, 30 years ago. Which, in small towns like this, you could see where they're kind of frozen in time. That not every, certain things get torn down, and the store over there could have been easily torn down, but it's still here. And it's awesome that it's still here, especially if you're a huge fan of My Cousin Vinny. I quote this movie so much. I have forgotten people's names. I have forgotten birthdays. I've forgotten so many different things, but I know that the Michelin model XGV size 75R14 is the same size and model tire. I know that. Why do I know that? Of all the dumb things to know. I know that it's Michelin model XGV size 75R14. I know that positive traction is available on both the Buick Skylark and the 1963 Pontiac Tempest, and both were available with metallic mint green paint. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you are new here, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to support me on Patreon like John Bailey did, you can do so. Link is in the description below. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt, a Tomwashere t-shirt, you can do so. Spreadshirt, as well as links to my eBay store, Facebook page, Instagram, Clubhouse, and the Pennsylvania Autograph Collectors Association. Links are in the description below. But when it comes to My Cousin Vinny, filming locations, Monticello, Georgia, I can say that my name is Tom and I was here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye, everyone.